My dear students and followers, today I am going to present to my lecture 3 on business statistics in English. Today I will discuss on chapter 1 Introduction, Data Classification and Variables. This lecture will focus on mainly data classification, variables, different types of variables included with continuous variable, discrete variables, random variable, independent variables, dependent variables. And this lecture is designed for the student of management, accounting, finance and banking, marketing, second year and third year students, including Bangladesh Open University students. So this lecture is presented by me, Mohammad Shifon Mia, Associate Professor, Department of Management, Kumilla Victoria, Government College. The outcomes of this lecture is the ability to develop to answering these questions. These questions are developed from the previous examination of National University question paper and also others university questions. So if the students attentively hear these lectures, they will be able to answer this question effectively. First, we will go to define about the classification of data. What is classification? Classification means grouping of data. How to group? Based on some characteristics. So what is classification? Classification is the grouping of data, making different groups into various classes based on characteristics. Suppose if there are 50 observation or 50 data, we can group it by categorizing from 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 50, 40 and 40 to 50. These 5 groups can be developed by using the data. So grouping data is called classification of data. In statistics, there are 4 categories or uses in making classification of data. These are geographical location. Geographical means it is geographical area such as division, district, country, region, maybe other geographical location. Second type is chronological classification. Chronological means basis of time, month, year, or quarter, anything. So chronological classification mainly focus on the time. Qualitative classification. Qualitative classification means some attributes, their existence or presence, or their degree of presence. Suppose girls, boys, or or blinds, and girls and male, female. These types of classifications are qualitative classification. It is mainly focused on quality or some attributes. And last classification is quantitative classification in terms of quantity or magnitude. How many, how much, this quantitative classification. So these 4 classifications are basically used in grouping statistical data. Now, we will discuss about what is variable. Variable is a very common terms used in statistics. Variable is the characteristics that varies in amount or magnitude in a frequency distribution. It is represented by X or Y. So in statistics, variable is a characteristics that varies in an amount. Suppose in a class 0 to 10. Within this class, the values may be 5, 4, 6, 10, 7, any value. So this range are expressed in the value of a variable. So what is variable? Variable is the characteristics that varies in amount in a frequency distribution. So variable may be either continuous variable or discontinuous variable. or discrete variable. Discontinuous variable also called discrete variable. What is discontinuous variable and discrete variable? Continuous variable is a variable that is capable to receive every fractional value in a certain range of a frequency distribution. In this picture, it is a frequency distribution, and this distribution lower limit is 10 and lower limit is 0 to 35. So here 0 to 10 or 10 to 15, 15 to 20, 15 to 20, 20 to 25. So the value 0 to 10 can receive any amount, or 10 to 15 can receive any amount. It may be digit or fractional amounts. Any value can receive it. So the feature of continuous variable is that it can receive any value. It is capable to receive every fractional amount in a certain range. Range means 10 to 15, 15 to 20. So any value within this range can take this variable. It is called continuous variable. These data, continuous variable data, are collected through measurements. Suppose height, weight. So height, it may be fraction or digit. It is collected by measurements. When we represent the continuous variables in a table, it called continuous series. So continuous series is formed by the values of continuous variables. So when the question is asked that what is continuous series, we can say that continuous series are the series that is formatted with the values of continuous variable. So what is now discrete variable? Discrete variable is that variable which can receive only finite number in a certain range of frequency distribution. So discrete variable can receive only finite number or digit, not fraction. And these types of data are collecting by counting, not measuring. When we represent the discrete value, we call this discrete series of data. Discrete series of data. Here is a frequency distribution. In this distribution, 40 data is repeated in 2 times, 50 is repeated by 4 times, 70 by 4 times. So these are the frequency, and think that if the value is 41 or 40.5, we cannot include in this table because the variable is only finite number. There is no continuity among this variable 40, 50, not 40 to 50 or 50 to 70. It is just 40, 50, 70, 80, 90. So middle values are absent here. So there is no continuity in this series. This series is called discrete series, and the value are called discrete variable. Another variable is random variable. What is random? Random variable. Random variable is a set of possible values from random statistical experiment. Example, tossing a coin, we could get heads or tails. So random variable is basically used in probability distribution, possible values, and it is found from random statistical experiment. Suppose when we toss a coin, there is a possibility of getting head and tails, only 2 values, head or tails. And the probability of getting heads is half and probability of getting tails is half. So these values are called random variables. So random variables are arises from random statistical experiment. Now we will focus on independent and dependent variable. What is independent variable? Independent variables are the controlled inputs. Controlled inputs that experimenter changes or controls to measure the direct effect on the dependent variable. Independent variable is controlled units. Control units, that means that the researcher or user can control this value. Suppose in this table, the fertilizer, here is the fertilizer and here is the production. So if the amount of fertilizer increase, the production will increase. It is assume that. So the amount of fertilizer use can be controlled by the farmers, but the amount of production cannot be controlled by the farmers. So here the use of fertilizer is the independent variable. So we can say that independent variables are the control inputs, and the user or the experimenter get it from changes or control the amounts. What is dependent variable? Dependent variable is a variable that is measured in experiment, or what is changed during the experiment. If we put fertilizer, then the production will be changed. So these values are the dependent variable. It is the result. So dependent variable is a variable that is measured in experiment, or what is changed during the experiment. It represents the output or outcome. Dependent variable is generally used for representing the output or outcome. Another feature is dependent. Another feature of dependent variable is to respond the changes of independent variable. Independent variable, of course, it have to respond to change of the independent variable. The names dependent. Dependent means depends on the independent variable. So the names also help to define what is dependent variable. Dependent variables is that variable which depends on the independent variable. So I think you can understand what is independent, what is dependent variable, and different types of variable also. So I think this lecture will be helpful for understanding the different types of variable and their definition. Sometimes we observe that these types of questions are frequently given in the examination in the national university or other university exam. So thanks for your patience hearing. And if you think that these videos are helpful to enrich your understanding capacity, then mail me your any comments or suggestion by using this mail. And you can visit this channel, Creative Support at YouTube. Thank you very much.